Hello everybody, my name is Clover Cosplays, and today I wanted to give you a little tutorial on how I do my Cav makeup. So recently I bought a new face paint, and it is Pro Air Face and Body Makeup. Usually I use water-soluble face paint, but today we're using the new stuff. And for brushes, I use a wide brush for the big details and smaller brushes for the smaller details. So we'll start out with the white. It's good to get a really good base coat on the bottom. And if you don't want the color to kind of mix a little bit, because I've noticed that with a couple different versions of paint that I use, it's best to avoid the areas that you know you're going to be putting a different color on. So when I did this, I avoided my cheeks, my nose, and my eyes because those are the big areas, and if you mix the two colors, it ends up being a little bit of a murky black. So it's best to just keep them separate and try to avoid those areas. And then once you have a full coverage on your face, we're going to start with the black makeup. So I used a smaller wedge brush for this because for the cheekbones specifically, there is a little bit of a point on top, and it's good to kind of make sure you get that square angle with the shape of the brush, and then just follow along your lower cheekbone. We're filling it in somewhat, but don't fill in the whole thing because we're going to fade it later on. So now that we have the cheekbones done, we're going to move on to the smaller details up on the side of the face to kind of get that rounded skull look. I always detail it with points up at the top, even though you're not able to see that very well under the wig, but it still kind of just adds to that effect. So when we go in with the nose, there's two distinct points on the top and the sides are a little more flat. And for the eyes, there are also those same types of points on the inner edge. So the paint that I am using is alcohol based, and it can sting the eyes a little bit, so we don't want to go in fully. So we're going to use a black eyeshadow to fill it in and just give it that full look. So next we're moving on to the second eye, and it's not always easy as an artist to get the second eye correct, so we're just going to try as best as we can to get that same round effect and shape. And after this is dry, we're going to move in again and cover it with the same black eyeshadow until it is completely finished. Now next we're moving on down to the mouth, and Cav has three distinct lines down the center and front of her mouth, one in the middle, one on the left, and one on the right. So when we fill this in, we're going to just kind of get those lines as symmetrical and straight as possible. And it isn't always easy with the curve of the lip, but with a little practice you can get it just fine. So I moved in and did a little more of the details myself, took a rag and started fading the makeup. So I added a little white point to the top of the cheeks, and now we just gotta get in costume. So this is what the final result looks like, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll answer as many as I can. I'll leave my TikTok and Instagram in the description, and have a great rest of your day.